What is the best way to exchange your US dollar into foreign currency? I wanted to answer that question, so I did some research, and here are 5 different ways to exchange your money. First one being getting it from your bank. Okay, so normally banks don't have foreign currency just lying around, and there are 2 methods to do this. You can go to a physical bank location, talk to the bank teller, tell them how much you want. They have to order it and have it shipped to the location. Another option is to do the same thing but do it online or on your mobile app. So for example, you can go onto the Bank of America foreign currency exchange, and then you'll see everything laid out. You can start by clicking start your currency order, then just add which currency you're trying to buy and then how much you want. Now a lot of times they'll have a minimum that you have to buy for you to use this service, so you can't just order like $10 or something like that. For Bank of America, you have to at least spend at least $100 US, and then you'll just start the order and order your currency. So it would be exactly the same process if you were to buy something off like Amazon or eBay. So that's an option, but it's not the best option. You're not going to get the best exchange for your money. For Bank of America, for 100 US dollars, they're only giving you $128.40. However, for $100, you should be getting about $134.75 Canadian. So they're already scamming you on the exchange rate. Plus, not only that, they're going to charge you shipping and other fees. Like the delivery charges for the Bank of America to do the foreign currency exchange is a shipping rate of $7.50 for 1 to 3 business days. Now, if you need it overnight, they'll charge you $20. And some other banks, if you don't order a certain amount, like at Chase, where you order less than $5,000 US money worth, then they'll charge you other fees. Mostly this method is targeted towards businesses, not towards individual people. And another downside is only a major couple banks like Wells Fargo or Bank of America actually let normal people order foreign currencies. And also you have to have an account with them. So if you're wanting to order foreign currencies through Bank of America, you have to have a Bank of America account. So this is definitely not the best way. The second way to get a foreign currency like the Canadian dollar is to go through an online currency exchange service. Now this is basically the same option as option 1. The only difference with this option, you don't have to be a member of a bank. Usually they give you better currency exchange rates, but with all the fees involved, it's not worth it in the end. And usually these online currency exchanges are more aimed towards people who invest in foreign currencies. It's like the stock market for them, because you know currencies change all the time, or they need to transfer money between businesses, so that's not a good option. Then the third option to get foreign currencies is just to go to a currency exchange within the country. Usually this is the most popular option since, you know, they're located everywhere. They're located at most tourist destination malls, airports. You can easily get to them, so it's usually accessible, fast, convenient. But is it the best option? Also, no, it is not. Like for example, when I went to Eden Center, there was this foreign currency exchange service, and as you can see from the chart, if they were to buy your US dollar, they would only give you 1.3210 or rounded $1.32 Canadian for every US dollar. But the exchange rate at the time I took this photo was for every US dollar, it should be worth $1.36 Canadian dollars. So you're losing 4 cents for every dollar you convert. It doesn't seem like much, but it adds up. Like for example, you're trying to exchange $1,000. During that exchange process, you would lose $40. But not only will you lose on that conversion rate, a lot of these foreign currency exchange services also charge a fee. So for example, at this place, if you look towards the bottom of the screen, for every cash transaction that they do, there's a fee of $4.50. So take that example of exchanging 1,000 US dollars. So we established that you would already lose $40 in the conversion rate, but on top of that, with a fee, you would be losing in total $44.50. And I personally don't have experience with this, and I think the same applies if you use these foreign currency services in the United States before you travel internationally. You can see if you were going to use Canadian dollars to try to exchange for US dollars, your rate would be for every $1.37 Canadian would equal $1. But like I said before, the rate when I took this photo was for every $1.36 Canadian, you could get $1. Sure, you're losing only 1 cent per dollar you try to exchange, but nonetheless, you still are losing money on that exchange. However, by the looks of it, it is better to exchange the foreign currency in the country you're at and try to get the foreign currency in your home country. However, you gotta remember, you still have to deal with that flat fee. So in this case, $4.50. And then the fourth option is while you're in the country, just use the US dollar. Now, I'm not speaking for all international locations, but there are many countries that'll take the US dollar, but it is dependent on the stores. Usually the places that'll do this are local vendors, and in my experience when traveling to Canada, they tend to be Asian ran stores. Like for example, at the bubble tea shop that we stopped at the cash register, you can just flat out pay with your US dollar, and for every US dollar, that would be worth $1.30 Canadian. So it's not exactly the best rate, but you have to factor in, is it more worth just paying in US dollars compared to if you were gonna exchange it in hate the fees, because at 1.3, that's 2 cents less than the foreign currency exchange service. However, you're not dealing with that $4.50 fee. So at the end of the day, you are losing. However, this may be the most convenient option because you don't have to exchange all your US dollars. Just exchange it for what you need to buy. However, an issue with this method is, like I said, not every store in that country will take the US dollar, and each store has their own conversion, so it might not be the most reliable option. I remember there was this one time my parents didn't exchange enough Canadian dollars, so they had to pay the rest of the bill in US. At the restaurant they ate at, normally that place doesn't take US dollars. However, at the end they did negotiate with us, but they gave us a terrible rate. I think they said at the time every US dollar would be worth 1 Canadian dollar to pay off the rest of the bill. So definitely don't rely on this fourth method, especially if you're going to a country that's really proud about their currency and culture, like Britain, where they're really proud of their British pounds. Using this method is more or less the Wild West. Now here's the final way of exchanging your US dollars to a foreign currency, is just to go to the local banks. This is going to be your best option. From my understanding, you're going to get a better exchange rate compared to those currency exchange services. I believe there isn't a fee if you do this, or at least it's more minimal. Personally, I haven't done this, but every time my family went to Canada when I was growing up, my mom and dad would always use this method to exchange their money for the Canadian money, and they've always told me it's a cheaper way. And I can definitely see that. The banks are probably not necessarily trying to make a profit off of a one-time transaction. They would probably make a little bit off you, but I don't see it being much. However, there is one way that is superior to every single way that I just went over. That is the Charles Schwab debit card, which I personally use to get $50 Canadian. Definitely way better than all the other options in my opinion, and I believe deserves its own video, which will be my next video in my Canada series. So I hope this video helped you out, and I'll see you later.